Hey there, everybody. I am joined by Rafi, and we are going to talk Young Jedi today. This is a really exciting one. We're going to do the top 10 rarest slash most valuable things in the Young Jedi game. Rafi, this is a game I don't know much about. I think I probably had like a booster box that I got for Christmas one year. And so like that was the extent of like my Young Jedi collection. But can you kind of give us a primer on the game and introduce yourself to everybody? Welcome to the show, I'm so happy to have you on here.
Yeah, thank you. I feel like we've known each other for a while through
Yeah.
various TCG communities. So I co-founded a channel called Pokenomics with my friend Jake. He does 99% of it now, but I occasionally make a video there. And I did a video on Young Jedi recently with an overview. So the way I describe it similar to you, it's like usually if you buy big lot of Star Wars CCG cards, there'll be some Young Jedi chaff thrown in there and people just like literally throw it away, which is what I used to do. But I found out that there are cards that are more desirable, especially foils, which is what I collect. That are actually very hard to come by. So we'll get into that. But that's what made it appealing to me. And along with that is just the artwork. I think it's really, really, really good. The foils look beautiful. We'll show them off during the video. Yeah. But the game came out in 1999, about 2 years before Decipher lost the license to Star Wars. It was right after The Phantom Menace came out. They only did Episode 1 cards because they lost the license before the Episode 2 movie came out. So if you're not a fan of Episode 1, you may not like them. I personally enjoy Episode 1 and I like the cards.
Episode 1 has grown on me so much, right? I used to be like, oh, this isn't great. Now, like, no, actually, I love everything about this movie randomly.
Yeah, Qui-Gon Jinn, I think, is my favorite character.
Oh, absolutely. Like, the more you, like, peel back the layers of, like, how he was the only Jedi that wasn't on the Jedi Council, like, Jedi Master that wasn't in the Council, because he was actually, like, more thoughtful and not like a mindless drone like the rest of the Jedi Council. Not to get into Jedi politics too much.
Well, speaking of thoughtful, one other thing to mention about the game is people say that it's very simple, even simplistic with Young Jedi. Like Star Wars CCG is one of the most complex card games ever. Young Jedi might be one of the simplest, but I think it's actually a bit of misconception. It's because people play with like the starter deck, and the starter deck is like super, super simplistic. And especially if you build customized decks, especially the later sets, they made things more complicated. So it's still a relatively straightforward game. Like it's not hard to learn. It's a good one to play with kids, and I'm hoping to teach it to my kids one day soon. But for me now, it's just about collecting.
Sure. Okay. What's a number 10 or 10 slot?
Yes, number 10. I'm going to try to hold these up as I'm talking through them. These are going to be the ultra rare foils from the first 3 sets. So there were 7 sets total of Young Jedi. Sorry.
That is like 6 more than I was aware of.
Yeah, exactly. There were 5 like normal sets. I guess it's 6 sets. There were 5 like normal ones and then reflections also. So the first normal set, you've probably seen these cards before. This is from Menace of Darth Maul. It's a little symbol of Darth Maul in the corner. That's what you're going to find as like chaff in Star Wars CCG lots. So there are 4. I'm showing you the 4 ultra rare foils from that set. There's 1. There's 2. And these are kind of like Endor foils in the Star Wars CCG, where only 1 in every 9 packs had a foil instead of the rare. And then these ultra rare ones, that's the last one from the first set, are extremely hard to come by. Calculate any given one has a 1 in 400 and something chance of being pulled. So those packs are super cheap, the first set, but I'm going to start to hold up the second set. Now these packs go for closer to $2 instead of $1. So if you calculate like 1 in 400 packs will have any given ultra rare foil, they start to become harder to come by. The first ones I held up probably worth about like $20 each. These ones maybe $25, $30 each, the second set. And then I'm going to hold up the third set, which starts to become harder to come by. Packs usually go for like $3 each. This is the third set, Battle of Naboo. And here are the 4 ultra rares in the set. These have gone up recently, I'd say probably like $35, $40 each. I know it's hard to see with the glare of the foil, but the foil pattern looks beautiful. And this is one of my favorite cards.
I mean, these cards just kind of
so angry.
Yeah. And they didn't foil everything in the set, right? It was just like they had like a set number of cards.
Correct. And I like that better, right? Instead of Lord of the Rings, where it's like every single card could be foil, it's only a foil subset of 18 cards in each set, just like Endor was. So very, very hard to get. So I'd say that's like the basic, like, spot number 10, the ultra rare foils from the first 3 sets, not too hard to get.
So like all under $40, right? Roughly.
Exactly. So next one is the 4th set, Duel of Fates. I'm going to hold up these 2 cards are ultra rare. So you can always tell in Young Jedi how rare a card is by the star in the corner. Where's the corner? Yeah. Like a 5-spoke star is rare, but they made the 6-spoke star as an ultra rare. So
that's 2 a great shot of Qui-Gon. He looks very like.
Oh yeah. That's good. And this is the Darth Maul. So this 4 set didn't have foils, and the whole set only had 60 cards total. So very, very little. But the ultra rares, I don't know exactly the rarity, but like probably worth about $45 each.
Okay. That's number 9. So number 8 now, right? I'm just trying to keep track.
Yeah, that was number 8, the ultra rares from Duel of Fates. We're going to get to the 5th set, Boudiv Pod Race, later because the ultra rares there are a lot more valuable. Next, I want to highlight number 7, cards number 8 from Reflections that are not the foils. So just like in Star Wars, there was a set called Reflections. It had a lot of foil cards. We'll get into that. But in addition, it had other kind of like new different cards, kind of like Reflections 2 had combo cards.
Like
this
premium.
had combo cards.
Right,
Yeah, premium. And so they had combo cards that look kind of red. I don't have them on me, but I want to show these ones I think are really cool called Armed and Dangerous cards. These are characters with weapons. So literally, I mean, you can see this. It's like literally 2 cards. It's just a picture of 2 cards in one. This black
awesome.
border.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah, these have recently become hard to come by. And so I don't understand the rules with these cards specifically. I never played with them, but they seem very like OP to me. Like it's literally you're just getting 2 cards in one for the cost of a little bit more, you know, of your resources every turn. I love that one of Orsing. I'm just showing some of them. There are actually 12 of these total. I like this Darkseid one. And this one is one of my favorites too.
So was this like one in every Reflections pack, or what was the sort of?
Yeah, so every Reflections pack would have, I think it's like 15 random cards from older sets. You could get rares and foils. 1 foil, which is the desirable one, and then 2 of those premium cards. 1 in every 6 premium cards would be an Armed and Dangerous card. So on average, you get them 1 in every 3 packs. The other ones, the combo cards, are a lot easier to come by. And so these have recently shot up in value. Someone was auctioning them off individually recently, and some of them went for more than $40 or $50 each.
Huh.
As a recent development. Okay.
Yeah.
Are we on to number 7? Is that right?
Yes, 7.
Number 7.
I'll try to keep track of the number. You just do the talking. I got the number 7.
These are going to look familiar to everyone. Wait, isn't this the exact same thing as Menace of Darth Maul foils? Yes, it is. The foil pattern looks slightly different, and that's because it's from the second print run, which is beta. So it's going to be hard to see on this camera, but there's a little letter beta in that right next to copyright over there.
Okay.
That was a second print run. Menace of Darth Maul, the first set, was only set to have a second print run called beta. So only one set had a second print run. There was only a second print run, no third, fourth, whatever. And unlike other games, a second print run is way more valuable than the first print run because it was done in very limited quantity. So beta Menace of Darth Maul cards are a lot harder to come by than the non-beta counterparts. And I'd say the price reflects that. So some of these beta foils are probably worth in the, you know, 40 to 50, maybe $60 range. I
think also this is a hypothesis, but there's such a small collecting community that I imagine not everybody is even like when they find a lot of this stuff, they're not even paying attention as a beta or a, you know, alpha necessarily.
Oh yeah. Speaking of finding chaff and throwing it out, it's like if you have the beta, like a complete set of the non-foil cards in Menace of Darth Maul, all the rarest commons and uncommons are worth $20, $25, but the beta set is worth a lot more than that because it's just harder to complete.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay.
6.
I'm going to see what number we're at. Okay, number 6. These are promo foils. So for anyone who collects Star Wars CCG, you're probably familiar with the Imperial class Star Destroyer foil, the Corellian Corvette foil. Those are cards you could get if you went to DecipherCon. They actually had a third option. If you didn't want one of those, you get this one, Captain Tarpals. So guess how many people picked the Captain Tarpals from Young Jedi over a foil Star Destroyer?
You have to be an absolutely insane person. Like I would really love this Captain Tarpals.
This card is really cool, but yeah, not even close. So yeah, very, very hard to come by. I mean, right now it's probably worth like $50 to $60, nothing insane. But just like the tournament foils in Star Wars, technically the Star Destroyer and Corellian Corvette are not tournament foils. They were promos given out at a specific event. This is the same thing. So there are 20-something tournament foils in Young Jedi. This technically doesn't count. It's more like a promo foil and way more valuable than the tournament foils. There's a second one called Open Fire. This was not given out at DecipherCon. It was given out at some other event. And this one, it's just a random like event card. You can see it's an uncommon, right? Because that's a 4-spoke star from the second set. But the foil version also worth like $50 to $60. So
that's a cool shot. It's a really like the explosion.
Yeah, the foil pattern looks. And there's a deck, right? A deck that became OP, and I forget if they banned something or changed up the format or something. But like this card was key in that deck.
Got it. Is all of this kind of available? Like, what's the level of robustness of like eBay markets, right? Like with Star Wars,
you're not going to find these on eBay anytime soon, right? Like when I first got into Young Jedi, there were a couple of them. I think I bought both of them basically. They've been really hard to find since then, and so even the prices that I'm giving, it's my best honest estimate. But sometimes these cards just sell so infrequently that it's hard to know.
Yeah, absolutely. So okay, we're on to number 5, I believe.
Yes, number 5. So now we're going to go back to set number 5, Boon to Eve Pod Race. I guess the technically set number 6 because it came out after Reflections, but it's more of like a typical set. So these are the ultra rares from Boon to Eve Pod Race. Like Duel of the Fates, it was only a 60 card set with no foils in it. But these are they have 2 cards that were the ultra rare rarity. The boxes of Boon to Eve Pod Race go for between $200 and $300. So each of these ultra rares, I'd say, is probably worth about $80 and very hard to find. They introduced new mechanics in that set where you could actually do pod racing, and it was another win condition for the game. Like instead of just decking out your opponent or winning 3 different battles, you could win through pod racing. And these 2 cards, if I understand correctly, are quite OP because they like boost your pod racing capabilities.
So was Bounty Pod, was this like released roughly the same time as like, I don't know, Thieves Palace, where it's like November 20?
Yeah, I don't remember the exact date. It's like the very, very, very end. Most people haven't even heard of it. So if you've seen Young Jedi packs, they all just have a picture of shiny Obi-Wan Kenobi, and like the first set is a red one, the next one's a blue one. The pack art wasn't very creative, except for Reflections, which is different. Bounty Eve is the brown one, and like most people like wouldn't even know that exists.
I think I've seen green, blue, purple. No, yeah, I've seen purple.
Purple is for Duel of the Fates, yeah, but brown hard.
Yeah, never brown.
Yeah, I've been collecting these. I've got a few copies of these ultra rares because I think they're kind of being slept on. And there's some one time I bought a lot of like 5 Bounty Pod Race packs on eBay at like a steal because someone didn't know what they were, and I pulled one of the ultra rares from it. It was like the greatest moment of my life, to say the least.
It's also just like such a quintessential collecting moment to actually open a pack and not just get like hot garbage, right? It's great.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, number 4.
Yeah, and those are the exceptions to most of my collection. Those are not foil because they only came in not foil, those ultra rares. But everything else I have for the most part is foil, and I think the foils look amazing. Okay, so this is a big one. This is getting really fun. Reflections. Reflections had 60 different foil cards. You'd only get 1 per pack, and there were 10 that were ultra rare foil. On average, you get ultra rare foil in one in every 10 packs. So that means the odds of pulling a specific ultra rare are 1 in 110. And each Reflections pack now probably goes for about $50. So these are very, very, very hard to get. I lucked out and bought a near complete set of Reflections just when I was starting to collect, when it was more attainable. Nowadays, I honestly don't know how attainable this is. So I'll show off the ultra rares from Reflections. What they did is they took cards from the first 5 sets that had previously not been foiled and turned them into foil. So this Qui-Gon actually was a rare in the first set, but they never made a foil version of it in the first set in this one. So I love this look, the foil lightsaber. Okay. Aurra Sing, so second one from the first set. This is from the second set. There's 2 ultra foils from the second set, Anakin and this tank. There's no rhyme or reason to this. Like, why the tank? Why Anakin? I've tried to talk to people who are like involved in the production of the game. It's like, why were these the cards that were picked to be ultra rares? It's like, I have no clue, no clue at all.
I think there's a level of like trolling that existed high up in Decipher, like the P59 ultra rare foil as well, which is like, let's just pick a random thing and make them prominent.
Well, I see what they're trying to do here. There were 10 different ultra rare foils. They didn't want them all to be repeats of the same character, so it's 10 different characters. But like when you're getting to like
10 ultra rare foils,
10 ultra rare foils.
That is feels like a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. This is the ones from the third set. So Sebulba. So again, cards that previously had not been foiled, but they try to cover many characters. Then the 4th set, Duel of Fates. You've got the foil Obi-Wan and foil Darth Sidious. Okay, and then the last 2 are from a set you may not recognize because I didn't talk about it yet. This is the enhanced sets, kind of like in Star Wars, they were enhanced. Yeah. So they repackage old cards, they put premiums. This card, non-foil, the premium is worth, I don't know, $1 or $2 because you can get it pretty easily, those premium packs. But the foil version, this one and the foil Darth Maul, these are like the ones with the weapons, are way more valuable than the other ultra foils. Not sure exactly how much, but this Darth Maul sold for I think about 150 recently. I'd imagine the Queen Amidala is the same. And these are 2 of my favorite cards. And it's hard to see the foil pattern here, but this Darth Maul looks beautiful, and same with the Queen Amidala.
Rafi, you're making. I almost bought a sealed box of Reflections for $600 recently, and I ended up passing. I was like, oh, I just don't. And now I'm regretting it because it just
that was a good price.
I know. I was like, oh, yeah.
Well, you brought me to number 3. Number 3 is, what's the third most valuable item? This is a sealed box of Reflections. I've got this custom-made acrylic case too, so I can protect it from Etsy. I love art on this box. It's just so different from other Young Jedi boxes.
Poor Jake Lloyd, right? That's is that the little boy's actor, right?
Yeah. Other boxes and packs of Young Jedi, like I said, are just Obi-Wan Kenobi with like a red background or a blue background. This has like tons of different pictures on it. I love the look of this. So like I said, each pack in Reflections probably goes for $45 to $50. The box is probably worth about $700. So if you could have gotten it for $600, it's a good deal. And actually, it's how I got partially into Young Jedi collection. I got a good deal on a couple of Reflections booster packs, and I opened them, and it was so fun to open because you get a mix of like foils from the older sets. You get a guaranteed foil. You get those premium cards, including the Armed and Dangerous. Super, super fun to open. Not worth it when it's $50 each. You're not going to make your money back on average. And the other thing I should note, actually, is this entire box only has 18 packs.
Oh, that's way less.
Yes.
It's funny. So someone told me that worked at Decipher, whenever Decipher was kind of like low on cash, they released a Reflections set. That was like the rule of thumb. And I think about that a lot as I talk about these games. So,
yeah, that might be the case. But this Reflections set, I think, is amazing. Like, so those ultra rare foils, again, from Reflections, I think are some of the most beautiful cards in my collection, like period.
It is just wild for 10 ultra rares of 60 cards, right? So you're just getting up with a lot of whatever very rare, super rare foils at the end of the day.
all the other ones are the same rarity, very rare or whatever. But yeah, like it would take on average 110 packs to open all the ultra rares.
Okay, I think we're two or three. I lost count.
Yeah, we're up to number 2. Okay, so I've showed off everything valuable that was ever produced in English. But just like the Star Wars CCG had cards in Japanese, Young Jedi also had cards in Japanese. They only ever made, and there's a third language too, German. So they produced Menace of Darth Maul in Japanese and German. The German version, for whatever reason, doesn't have foils. So it's relatively easy to complete a German set of Menace of Darth Maul. Obviously harder than English, but still easier than Japanese. The Japanese foils for Menace of Darth Maul are, I don't know, semi-impossible. I recently, part of the reason I'm excited to make this video now, and an update I've had since I made my video, is that I obtained the Japanese foil cards. So I'll show off the ultra rares here. And I guess this won't mean anything to most people because they've never heard of this game. They don't know what this is. But these cards are just insanely hard to find. In terms of the ones that I personally know of in existence, there's 3 of each of these that I've ever heard of among anyone in the Young Jedi community. Like myself and 2 other people I know have these, and that's it. So
sorry, go into it actually.
Yeah, these Japanese boxes of Menace of Darth Maul are just kind of like Japanese Hoth for Star Wars CCG. Just so few of them were produced, people didn't really know what they were. They weren't into it at the time. So now they're extremely, extremely hard to come by. So I've seen a couple of boxes go like on these Japanese auction sites. There was one on eBay at one point. The packs probably averaged like $30 each. So I calculated the value of these ultra rares, like essentially what I paid for them on average. This Darth Maul probably worth about 500. The other ultra rare foils probably about 300 to 400 each.
Interesting. So there's 4 total, right?
4 total ultra rares. There's 18 total foils in the first set. So I have all 18 in Japanese. But the super rares and very rare foils.
Got it. Japanese was just the first set, correct?
Yep. Okay. And then, well, if you want to get to number 1. Number 1 is they did make the second set, Jedi Council, in Japanese. But it's like almost a rumor, right? Like I'd never even seen a Japanese Jedi Council set until someone sent me a picture, a few months ago. And I ended up, so this is very lucky, I ended up getting 2 rares from Japanese Jedi Council. These are non-foil rares. The set had 30 rare cards. But these packs are insanely hard to come by. Like I only know of 2 people ever who've ever even seen an actual sealed booster pack of Japanese Jedi Council. There are foils, and there are a couple of people I know who have the foils. I think I was quoted at buying like one of the very rare foils. Like the cheapest one out of the 18 is like $100. So I can only imagine the ultra rare foils, if they exist, would go for $1,000 plus easily. But I don't even know if anyone has one of those.
So you have 2 now.
I have 2 non-foil rares.
So this is like,
I would value these at something like $30 each, kind of almost impossible to find, but there's 30 rares in the set, right? So how much does anyone care about these? The foil is just insanely hard to find.
Interesting. So what's next? Is it like the other 28 rares?
Yeah, I mean, maybe there is someone who has a partial set of them that I'm eyeing, but like I said, I care a lot more about the foils. So I really want to find the Japanese Jedi Council foil cards, and I've only known 2 people who even have a couple of them. So it's kind of just like waiting and waiting and waiting, watching these Japanese auction sites, and like maybe one booster pack of Jedi Council will go up once in a while, and I'll buy it and I'll open it.
Well, this has been really, really fun, and a lot of. I hope to have an update in like 6 months where we do this again, and you just have an entirely new list where it's all the Japanese cards that you've acquired in the last, over the next 6 months.
Yeah, I highly doubt it. And I don't want this to be kind of like too big of a barrier for new collectors, right? Like obviously we did the top 10, and numbers like 1 through 7, even 1 through 8 on that list are like eminently attainable. It's just those Japanese cards that are almost impossible. But I hope that like how cool the foils from Young Jedi looks makes people realize, like, I think they're super underrated, especially compared to Star Wars CCG, if that's something you're a fan of, and relatively possible to come by.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think anything that's using actual movie stills is always going to be better than, it's like a cartoon drawing of Han Solo or something. It's just, these are iconic moments, iconic characters. And, Phantom Menace has also like randomly looked back like, oh, this is all A-list celebrities now, minus poor Jake Lloyd, right? But you have like Liam Neeson.
Yeah, that Trade Federation tank went on to be a tank in a real war.
Right, exactly. That's like everyone's favorite tank now. But like Natalie Portman is in like lots of stuff, and she was kind of a little more obscure then. Or like Keira Knightley is her double.
Yeah, Keira Knightley played one of the decoys for Natalie Portman's character, and that was like before she was like known at all.
Yeah. Well, Rafi, thanks so much for coming on. We're gonna have to do a follow-up for something else. This has been so fun talking. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Please comment, like, subscribe. I always forget to say that stuff, but if you made it to this point, you're probably already doing that.
And I will end by saying, if you feel like you're an old Jedi, you're a young Jedi at heart.
I like that.